I was disturbed and dismayed to learn that this past week on Tisha B'Av, a group of Orthodox yeshiva students, young men and women, entered the egalitarian prayer space at the Kotel, put up a mechitza, and crowded in to stay there for the evening, preventing others from entering. This space, located at the archaeological site known as Robinson's Arch, serves as the space where conservative, reform, and other liberal Jews can pray without a mechitza closest to our holy sites. It was painful to watch the video footage of extremism and disrespect in the name of God on Tisha B'Av night. And in case you're picturing young men dressed in black suits, white shirts, and black hats, this group was from the Dati Le'umi community. They looked and dressed much more like I do as an Orthodox Jew. These young men and women are affiliated with a group called Rabba, making an effort to protest the agreement known as the Kotel Compromise, which would formalize this space as a protected egalitarian prayer space. In doing so, they literally trampled on the prayers of other Jews, drowning out the voice of the woman who eventually did attempt to read the book of Eicha in that space. They were shouting, cursing, singing songs about Jerusalem. This was sinat chinam, unabashed hatred of fellow Jews on Tisha B'Av of all days, and under the guise of righteousness and piety. Al eile ani bochia, we read on Tisha B'Av, over these I weep. I don't need to convince you of the value of religious pluralism, of making space for Jews who practice or believe differently than ourselves. We can discuss, debate, disagree, but with respect and from a place of acknowledging our shared peoplehood. To be clear, the issues themselves are important. The ideologies that distinguish some Jewish beliefs from others are significant disagreements. But we must not vilify each other for our beliefs. As Jews, we can be passionate, but that often leads to judgment. We judge each other for how we dress, how we pray, whom we marry, and now we're also going to be judging one another based on whether or not we'll eat Ben & Jerry's ice cream. These are deeply important matters to discuss and engage with, but let's be careful about how we have these debates. Let's not weaponize Jewish ideologies or vilify one another because of our significant disagreements. This Shabbat is Shabbat NACHAMU, the Shabbat of comfort following Tisha B'Av. And when you look up at the sky tonight and you see the full moon, you'll also know that this Shabbat falls exactly in the middle of the Hebrew month. It's the 15th of Av, known as Tu B'Av. Shabbat NACHAMU doesn't always coincide with Tu B'Av, but this year it does. Some like to call Tu B'Av the Jewish Valentine's Day, but it's so much more. The Talmud describes it as a day of joy. Why? In ancient times, it was the day that a fractious conflict between tribes ended, and the tribes would once again accept each other for marriage. Over the generations, it became customary on that day that Benot Yerushalayim, the maidens of Jerusalem, would go out to the vineyards and dance in white dresses which they borrowed from one another. It was a courtship dance of sorts, for young women looking for a match. But nobody would wear their own dress, not even the daughter of the king, in order to mute the boundaries between rich and poor, so that nobody would be ashamed. Tu B'Av is about erasing factious divides within our people, about equalizing socioeconomic status, about recognizing our shared humanity and our shared fate as a nation. It's understood as a repair of Tisha B'Av. This year, this is the comfort, the NACHAMU that we need. Shabbat Shalom and happy Tu B'Av.